I could be yours. We can drive a couple miles to the ocean and hear the sound and be around all together. As I'm standing next to you, I feel the pleasure, but I know the fairy tale won't last forever. So hold on, though still dawn. So take my hand, we'll be gone. Breathe in, breathe out. Let's feel the air, 'cause when we're driving I feel I could be yours. When we're driving I feel I could be yours. 'Cause when we're driving I feel I could be yours. Be yours.
I hear love songs. I hear love songs without love. You come over and you're gone. I came all this way. Came all this way for you. I guess I had it coming. I don't fall like this. I don't fall unless it's true. I guess I wasn't thinking. You got me here, and now you want me gone again. The summer ends, yeah. You got me here, and now you just don't give a damn. When I am in love, you got me, knocking me out. You got me, knocking me out. You got me, knocking me out. You got me, so please get me. You got me here, knocking me out. You got me here, please get me out. You got me here, knocking me out. You got me here, so please get me out. I feel stupid, but it's fine. It's all worth it. It's all worth it every time. 'Cause when love's so good, 'cause when love's so good it hurts. You know you got it coming. It gets way too hot. It gets way too hot and burns. You know you can't help it. You got me here, and now you want me gone again. The summer ends, yeah. You got me here, and now you just don't give a damn. When I am in love, you got me here, now get me out. You got me here, please get me out. You got me here, now get me out. You got me here, so please get me. You got me, now get me out. You got me, now get me out. You got me, now get me out. work it, don't dig it in. Back it up now. So to get down, good Lord. Baby got 'em up and all over time. Straight. Time's on your side when you're 6 years young and brave. Heart's beating wild like it's wrong and could never break. Then you meet your first love just to learn a lesson. Guess it's kind of fun in a funny way. Then it gets deeper, you say I'll never leave you, till you get scared and you run away. Remember what I say, you can cry, 'cause your tears are gonna dry. I wouldn't lie, cross my heart and hope to die. I hope you know that I will be here with my shoulder by your side. So cry, you can leave it all behind tonight. Thinking about a call that you never made. You work for a life that you don't want anyway. Then you meet
Shoot.
learn another lesson. Guess it's kind of fun in a funny way. Then you wanna be heard, scream until your chest hurts. Are you gonna stay or run away? Hear me when I say you can cry, 'cause your tears are gonna dry. I wouldn't lie, cross my heart and hope to die. I hope you know that I will be here with my shoulder by your side. So cry, you can leave it all behind tonight. When the words in your chest hurts, you can leave it all behind. When you know it can't get any worse, keep your shoulder close to mine. When your eyes are about to burst, you'll be alright. You can leave it all behind. Leave it all behind and cry, 'cause your tears are gonna dry. I wouldn't lie, cross my heart and hope to die. I hope you know that I will be here with my shoulder by your side. So cry, you can leave it all behind tonight.
See this kid with vibe. uh,
Um, Welcome, guys. I know it's Friday, the last day of the week. So we've been having a hectic week, right? Hectic, but very insightful and very knowledgeable week. So today you can join us, me and my co-host Narcis, and also our guest Spelele Mkwanazi, in which he will show us how on Azure Fridays, which is Azure.NET Friday, web development with ASP.NET Core. So, Spelele, you know, this is your field. The last session that we had, we experienced so much passion from you, and we hope to get the same thing today. And just take it away, man. We hope to learn a lot today.
Okay, let's get to it. First, let me share my screen. Share my screen real quick. I'm just gonna share the entire screen just to make sure everything runs smoothly.
How's
Tell
your
me when
Friday?
my screen pops up on your side.
Okay, it's popping.
Mm,
It's loading.
okay,
How's your Friday coming along?
you know, same old, same old. You know, it's a little bit slow today, but then at least we get to do something exciting before the day ends. You know, at
Awesome.
least it's not every day where you can just go on and teach people how to create ASP.NET Core websites. You know, so Friday is it's quite a special day. You know,
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
it is quite a special day.
What have you in
So,
store for us today?
uh, okay. So how I want this to be laid out, I don't really want to rush everyone, especially for people who don't even know what's going on, right? So I'm not gonna be jumping into complex stuff like doing calculations. Today we're just gonna be touching more on the front end, manipulating divisions and all of that, right? For people who haven't touched code at all, right? And then as time goes on, you know, get into more complex stuff, touching the back end stuff, databases, and all of that. Because
Awesome.
remember, we only have 1 hour to touch on this, so we can't really, I don't know, die. Like, you know what I mean. You know what I mean,
I
right?
get
So is my
you.
screen sharing?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, okay. So first, this is how Visual Studio looks, guys. For the first time, as I said, Visual Studio is an IDE that I was telling you about on the last session. For those who are not on my last session, basically Visual Studio, an IDE is where you code, where you put your code. Literally, it's kind of like how you have a textbook and an exercise book to write your stuff, like a notepad or whatever. This is what an IDE is. It's where you put your code. So if you check here, this is one of my recent applications that I've been working on here on the side. It's one of my recent applications I've been working on. If you check here, swag.io is an application that I showed you guys. I actually opened it today for some reason. I don't remember why. So yeah. So for us, since we're creating a new project, when I come to the right-hand side, it says getting started. So here are 4 options here, right? 4 options. It's either you clone from a remote repository like GitHub, or you open a project solution. Let's say you already have a project here on this PC. You can just go open that solution and continue where you left off, or open the folder, and then that folder is gonna be like everything inside that folder is gonna be loaded inside the IDE. But now in this sense, since we created a new project, we're just gonna say create new. Just gonna say create new projects, and bear with me if my PC takes long. It's not a really fast computer, so bear with me. you know, I'm still a
It
student like you
happens.
guys, so I don't really have like one of those powerful machines like people in Microsoft have. But yeah, so yeah, this is a bunch of templates. Remember last week when I was talking about pre-built templates, where you don't have to worry about all of the heavy stuff when you're setting up your applications. Here's a bunch of templates here. So here at the first template we have here at the top is the console app. This is pretty much an application that doesn't have a user interface. Pretty much, it only runs in the command line. That's what the console app is. And most people use console applications to create microservices. And what do I mean by microservices? I'm talking about applications that run in the background that don't really need a database. They could do things like caching, storing passwords. They usually they're usually used for caching. And a really nice example of a console application, when you try to load airtime on your phone, that SSD thing that shows up, if you check there, there's nothing fancy going on. It's just numbers and words. There are no graphics, no buttons. You just put in numbers, combinations, and then it gives you what you want. It pretty much calculates most of the time. That's an example of a console application. And then if you check here, come a little bit closer down, We have ASP.NET Core web application, which is what you're going to be using. And then underneath, there's a Blazor app. I'm not going to touch on that today, but hopefully in future we'll look at that. But we're just going to focus on ASP.NET Core web application. As you check here, as I said on the last session, ASP.NET Core applications run everywhere, literally. And they're even showing you here. It's Linux, macOS, Windows, even on the cloud. You can even create a web service with this. That's why they're calling it service, right? And they even wrote web here, which means it also runs on the browser. I know some people are getting confused on what do I mean when it runs on the browser, but then that's beyond the scope of this project. So don't worry about it. Just know that it runs everywhere. So when you're creating applications, when you're using the ASP.NET Core version, you just safe. You have a larger distribution environment for your application because you don't really have to worry about setting up anything, right? So we're gonna click this. Okay, let me hide this and say next. This is a template you're going to use. Now here we're pretty much naming our application anything we want. So what am I gonna name this? Let me just think of a creative name. I'm just gonna name it Purple Cube for some reason. Don't ask me why. It just sounds cool. then here the location is where I want my application to be. Right, so I could use there's actually a variety of parts here where I put my recent applications actually. But in this sense, I'm just gonna leave this here since it's just for teaching you guys. We don't really care about like having it stored somewhere else because I know where to find it. Right, so I'll pretty much post it on GitHub after I'm done with it, so you don't really have to worry. So I'm gonna leave the path as it is by default. And then here, the checkbox, place a solution in the same directory as a project. Now, what does that mean? So when you're creating a project, it comes with a lot of files and folders, a lot. Some of the stuff you're never even gonna open ever. Some you don't even need to open, you just application just needs it to run, but you don't really care about it. So what this does, your solution is that that executable file, if I may put it in a sense, that executable file that you open and write your code in it. That's what's your solution. Now, when you're saying, place a solution and the project's in the same directory, you're saying all the other folders that are dependencies of the application should be in the same. So specifically, there's going to be one folder, the name of your application, and inside, there's going to be everything that your application needs to run. It could be libraries, everything it needs, fonts, CSS, JavaScript, all of it's going to be there with your solution. Your solution is going to be suffixed with .sln. So yeah, I'll show you that later on. So we're just gonna click create. And as we wait for it to create this project, hopefully it performs this time.
This is what happened to me on Tuesday. My Visual Studio was giving me a lot of struggles.
Hey, bro, I need to get a better PC, but then I just hope this one cooperates. I really hope this one cooperates. So if you check here, there's also, so you basically find templates inside the templates, if you know what I mean. So earlier on, we clicked the ASP.NET Core web application templates. It's pretty much just going to give us folders of the stuff that is going to be preloaded by the IDE, And also when you get in here, as I said earlier on, you can build a lot of stuff with ASP.NET Core, with .NET actually. Now, with ASP.NET Core specifically, you can build an API, you can build a web application, and you check here, there's something called Model View Controller. Some of you have heard, some of it call it MVC, some fancy term. But now here's the catch. This, like literally all of this is the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, it's the same thing, literally. So you can create the same application with any of these templates. It's just that the best part about like separating this template is knowing what you want. So if I had to click Model View Controller, I'm gonna have pre-generated folders that I'm going to use. Some of them I'm gonna use. When I click Web Application, it's not gonna be there. But if I add those folders, the functionalities will still be there. So this and this, all of this is the same thing. It just depends on what you want. So for me, since I want to be faster when I'm coding, I want some stuff pre-generated, stuff that I don't really care about. Actually, my application cares about it, but I don't really care about it. I don't want to waste my time with it. So I'm just gonna click MVC. And if you check here, if you look at this checkbox right here, it says enable Razor runtime compilation. Now, what does that mean? Remember when I told you guys last week when I was talking about the Razor View engine, the Razor syntax that allows you to write C# and CSS on the same page, literally on the same page. So you're using two different languages on the same code base, and then they run code like at the same time. So when I'm enabling this, I'm not just saying that, okay, fine, I want that to happen. That happens by default, but by enabling this, what I'm actually doing is saying, okay, fine, when I'm running my application, I can still go on to where there's my HTML, the CSS, and do a couple of edits, and then I don't really have to refresh or build my whole application, then come back. I could just do the minor changes, save, and then go back. I don't really have to build, compile all over again. So I'm gonna enable this checkbox. And if you check it as enable Docker support, we're gonna look at that way later on the stage. So I'm just gonna click create.
And what about
So
the non-authentication?
Oh, that's pretty much that's a topic on its own. I would touch on that, but then it's gonna take days, literally days, to understand. Because you have to understand how the database works. I can't just jump into authentication when people don't even understand how the database works, how the database schema. What is even a schema? There's a lot of moving parts. If I have to touch on Docker or authentication, right now we're just focusing on a static site.
Awesome.
So this is the main page you're going to get after like creating you're loading on your templates pretty much. You haven't done anything here. This is what you're gonna get. The first time you load your templates, the first thing you see. The best part about this, before even going and touching any of the code base, to show you that this is already pre-built templates that you can edit and add stuff that you want. If I just come here in my Solution Explorer, now in my Solution Explorer, that's where everything I need for my project is going to be pretty much. I have properties, I have controllers, I have models, I have views. I'm gonna come back to that later on. But before I go any further, I'm just gonna come here. I want to show you that this application is literally pre-built. We can just add whatever we want. I'm gonna run it, right? So I'm gonna write the faster way on the command line. I'll run it on the IDE, but it's a little bit bulky and slow. So I'm gonna come to the command line, CD to the path of that application, delete this, and put the path into a string. Put the path into a string. Before I touch anything, I just want to show you that it runs as it is. The template alone runs.
So Tory, question. I told our viewers about this command line, Windows interface. How can they know the syntax about in the Windows terminal if they want to start using it?
Okay, so basically how the terminal works, for people who've been using the Linux operating system, they will navigate just fine with the terminal, just fine. But then if you really, really, really want to learn how the terminal works, there's so much to learn, but what I would recommend is learn what you need. Same thing with projects. There's a lot of stuff to cover in .NET, but we're only going to learn what we're going to use. So now I would just say, learn these commands that I'm using right now. CD for changing directory. Changing directory is like changing the folder. And this is just the path where my application is. As you saw what I did, I went to my application here. Oh, this is not my application. I went to my application here and opened up Solution Explorer and went here to the solution and under the solution itself and right click. And if you check here, let me just zoom in here. Zoom in here. If you check, I'm gonna go there. I'm just gonna go there, copy full path, and then copy
Your screen
that,
is
and
frozen.
go back to my terminal. My screen is frozen.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it again. How about now? Is it still frozen?
Yeah, no, it's not. It's fine now.
It's fine now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start again. I'm gonna start again to show you guys what I did. There's nothing fancy. I haven't even started touching the code. I'm just showing you. I just want to show you that this template runs without even touching anything. That's what a template is. It's someone doing stuff and leaving it halfway. But whatever they've given you, you can use it. But I wouldn't recommend it because it normally doesn't even look good. So I'm just going to show you that this template runs, how it looks before touching anything. I'm going to go here, just underneath my solution. Here, I'm going to go just right here. I'm going to go just right here. Let me zoom in to show you where I am. Just right here, purple cube, and right click. And when I'm right clicking, I'm going to come here, copy full path, copy full path. I'm going to go there. Do that quickly. Copy full path. And then I go back to my terminal. Okay, let me clear this up. Actually, let me just go back to the main directory, to the home directory, actually. Show you how this whole thing looks when you open the terminal, how it's going to look for everyone, right? I'm just going to go back and clear this up. You can just type in clear and everything clears up. So I'm going to say change directory and then paste this. Now, when I'm pasting this, I don't want the solution itself, but I want the path where the solution is. So I'm gonna delete this and leave this, and leave this where it says purple cube, the name of my project, right? And then put this into a string, inverted commas. In other words, put this into a string, and then press enter. And then I'm inside that path. Remember what I did last week? I said .NET run. So I'm just gonna say .NET run, .NET run. And press enter. And then what this does, it compiles and builds your application inside the terminal. It's not even touching Visual Studio. It's building and compiling our application on the terminal. So depending on what machine you'll be using, this might take a little bit longer, but for some people who are using powerful PCs, it might take a couple of seconds. But since I'm using, I don't want to say mid-range, but one of those lower spec PCs, it might take a couple of minutes. Not minutes, but you'll see. It's coming up.
Whilst
But as you
we
wait for
wait,
that,
can I say something?
yes.
Yeah, I was watching one of the Scott Hanselman videos, and he said he referred to what you're doing over here as a manual. You know, when you're driving a car, there's automatic and manual. So what you're doing here is the manual way of running your application, because some people prefer just going to the interface and then running the project from there. But what you're doing here is the manual way of doing things. If you get what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. Pretty much. This is a manual way. You might want to know two ways. So basically, me coming into the terminal, this is what Visual Studios do in the background. When you click in that, let me show you this button actually. Let me show you this button on the builds. This button right here. This button here. The green play button here. When you click it, it's what I did on the terminal is what Visual Studio is doing in the background. It's compiling and building, but all of that is abstracted for you. So you can't really see anything. So all of this, okay, this looks a little bit ugly, but all of this is done by Visual Studio on the background, but I just did it in the terminal. So this is what it does. It's listening on port 5000. So since I'm using the latest version of Windows Terminal, I can just click this link, control, and then click this link. It should open up my browser. Oh, there it is. There it is.
So there you go,
Load.
folks. It's those are two ways for you to run your program.
Pretty much, not two ways. But I would always recommend running on the terminal since it's way faster, because I literally like this way because my PC is not that fast. But when I run on the terminal, it performs a little bit better than it did when I ran it inside the IDE, right? So this, you see, this is how this template looks. It's a welcome page, and then there's the hyperlinks here. There's home, there's privacy. There's really nothing much going on. This is basically what a template looks like. They just give you base stuff. You can add whatever you want here. So what we're gonna do here, the first thing I want us to change is, let's just change this title and put the name of our application. So we're gonna go back to our code. Now here, before we start jumping into everything, the templates that I used is divided into three main parts. The three main parts we're going to be focusing on. Let me just highlight those three main parts for you guys. There they are. There they are. Three main parts. Model view controllers, or MVC. So basically, we have to understand what is a controller, what is a model, and what is a view. Now, for starters, we don't even know what that is. I'm just going to try to explain the simplest form. Let's start with the views. The views, I feel like that word is kind of self-explanatory, right? With the view is what you see. when you interacting with the website. When you go to Facebook, is what you see are the buttons, the search bar, the animations, the icon. That's what's happening in the view. That's where you write your HTML. And now with the models where you put your classes there. And by classes, that's where you're gonna have variables there storing your data. But we're not gonna touch that today. And then your controllers is the most important part. The controller is kind of the middleman between the models and the view. So here's what happens, right? Under normal circumstances on large scale applications, inside the model, you find data. Your model is kind of like a database. Let's just call it database for now. For now, I know that's not exactly what it is, but for now, just to make you understand how the model works. So your model has data about, let's say, about customers or about users or whatever your application is about. It has information about that. Now you want to render that information on the view for the person when they log in onto the site. So say when they click login, they should see this. Now the person that handles all of that is the controller. The controller sits in the middle of the model and the view. So when you click on the button, you basically tell the controller, hey, go fetch me this. And then the controller goes to the model and fetches that. In most cases, it goes to the database, and the database works in line with the model. Hence why I'm calling it a model for now, for now, for now. But then we're not going to be touching on that, so don't worry about that. So today we're just going to be focusing on the view and manipulating the view. So if you check here on the view, if when you open views, there are two folders here. There's home folder and there's a shared folder. Right, there's a shared folder. Now, when you open up the home folder where we have the stuff that's pre-generated for us, we're just going to be touching on that today. Now, when you click index is kind of like home, kind of the home page. That's why they put it under the home folder. When you look at this, let me just try to zoom in. I think that's a little bit bigger. When you check here, there's not really much code happening on here. What do we remember about this @ sign? This is the razor syntax. You're writing C# code and HTML code on the same page. But in order to write C# code, you need to put the @ sign. All of this is supported by the Razor View engine, which comes installed with Visual Studio. So we don't really have to worry about that. Now let's look at this. Something I really want you guys to notice. Look at this welcome. Doesn't this welcome look the same as this welcome? You check. This is the same thing, right? So let's see what would happen if we had to change that. You just call it, let's just say hello friends and see if it's going to work. I'm spelling my friends, bad spelling. Save and see if that's going to change. And refresh. It should change. Because right now we're just manipulating the view. We haven't really touched on the heavy stuff. I don't know why it's taking long to load. But yeah, it's still loading here as we wait for that to load. Oh, look at that. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Magic, right? I haven't done anything. I just changed welcome to hello friends. That's done. The application is done. Let's push it and deploy it and find we're going to have users using this application. We're done. My work is done here. Okay, I'm playing. Let's just add more fun onto it. We're just going to add more fun into this. But I'm just showing you how this whole thing works, right? So going back to our code base. And if you guys have questions along the way or anything that I'm skipping or moving too fast, you can stop me at any time. You can even ask me anything you see here, anything you see in this code, and I'll explain it. As you see this learn about, this text is the same as this. It's the same as this. And if you check this is hyperlinked. This is the link here. This is the link here. And I know you guys are seeing a lot of HTML here, and some of you know who don't know what HTML is, a markup language. It's pretty much, it sketches how web pages look. And if you want to learn about HTML and what tags to use, you can just go to W3 Schools. That's where I get most of my HTML. I don't know a lot of HTML, but I just go here and then I find everything I need. W3 Schools has everything you'll ever need, literally, from tables, how to create the tables, look here, even has how to learn C#. I did not know this. This is new. This is news to me. So yeah, let's go to W3 Schools and start learning your tags. Everything you need is here. So let's go back to our code base. So what can we do? We're just gonna leave the default stuff, and then let's just add a division, right? I always like to add divisions. So we're gonna add a division. Now what a division is, pretty much I feel like that word is kind of self-explanatory too, because it divides your web page into portions, right? So you don't want to have text. So for instance, I don't want to have just whatever I'm going to write here. I don't want it touching the word hello friends. I want it to be on the next slide. So I'm dividing the whole page. Hence why it's called a div. So I'm going to use a div. And then on this div, I'm just going to add, what would I want to add? Let me just edit text. This is our simple web page. Web page. This is our simple web page. Okay. Put our pictures. We put our pictures. Let's make this a photo album. We put our pictures. Smiley face. Smiley face, and then save. And then go back to the browser. Go back to the browser and then refresh. It should show up under friends. It should show up under friends. Oh, look at it. Here is it. Just right under friends. I haven't done anything fancy. I'm just literally typing stuff and then it keeps working. That's how code is. You just go type stuff, you save, you go check how it looks like. You type stuff, you go check and see how it looks like. I can even change the color of this if I wanted to. I can make it bold if I wanted to. I can move it to the side if I wanted to, you know. So in this sense now, let's just say we want to make this a photo album. Let's just call this a photo album project. We want to put our pictures here. Let's just change this hello friends. And call it my photo album. I'm gonna put pictures here. A photo album. A photo album. Yeah, and then just save this. And then underneath this div, we're gonna put our pictures. And then I'm gonna give this div a class name. Now, what is a class name? It's kind of like a nickname for this div. So as my original name is Pelele Mkwanaz, but everyone calls me Tory. Same thing with classes. Same thing with so when we're working with divisions, headers, all the HTML markup, we can give it nicknames. So as I'm adding, oh, please mute your mic. Who's that disturbing us?
No, I want to say something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, no, your nickname is actually Scott Jr.
This kid. Actually, Scott taught me this, guys. Actually, Scott has been teaching me all of these things. Full disclosure, full credit to Scott. He's been teaching me most of the stuff that I'm teaching you guys. You know, so big credit to him. Go check out his YouTube channel. A lot of great content is there, right? But yeah, Scott Junior it is. Then Scott Junior it is. So a class name is kind of like an alias for those who like using fancy terms. But then I'm a simple guy. I'm just gonna stick to calling it a nickname. So we call it a nickname. So I can give this div my pictures. I can just call it pictures. Call this div pictures. This is where I'm gonna put my pictures. Right. So mind you guys, I'm creating this website with you. I didn't do it before. I'm just creating it for the first time. So if we're doing it and then things get out of hand, bear with me. Okay. I'm just saying as early as now, bear with me, guys. Bear with me. And then we're gonna put another div inside here. Another div. So you're putting a division, we're dividing the page. Oh, dividing a page and then dividing the space that we divided inside the page. You understand as time goes on. Don't worry. You understand as time goes on. And keep it a class 2. Just call this items. Item, whatever. Let's call it items. Doesn't matter. I hope this works, eh? I hope this really works. And then here, we might want to add our pictures. What's the tag for pictures? Since I want you guys to learn how HTML works and how you can do HTML tags, we're just going to go to W3 schools. I could easily type it out here, but then I'm not really a big fan of people who just type out random stuff and then you're asking yourself, what did I get it? How would I know what to put when I want to do this? So I can just come to W3 schools and then search for image. There should be a search bar here. Images. My spelling is so bad. Oh my god. Images tag. Yeah, images tag. Should be here. Sorts. Oh, there it is. There it is. Images tag. There's the image tag. Pretty much when you want to put an image. There's the image tag. So I'm gonna copy this. Oh, one more thing about coding, guys. Coding, you know what's the best thing about coding? You can always go online and find the code that you're looking for. Literally, you don't have to memorize any of these things. You just need to know what goes where and how it works. But the actual syntax on how it's supposed to look like, you can always search that. Literally, documentation is everywhere. So I'm just gonna copy this, Control C, or for good old fashioned way, copy, and then come here, and then just paste this here. Now, since this is my image, right? The SRC is for source, where the image is, and it's just the location of the image and what it is. In this case, let's just use an online image. Let's just use an online image. Oh, wait, first let's see if this actually runs. Maybe it's gonna pick up that image online. Let's see. Let's save this and go back to the browser. I just wanna see if it's gonna pick up that image. It's gonna be interesting. This is gonna be interesting. Wait for it to load. Okay, it didn't pick up the image. What is this text here? Before I go back, as you notice here, it's a text here that shows up. The image didn't show. We can see that it's supposed to be an image showing on here, but then there's text showing. Now, what is this text? You're probably wondering, what is this text? Now, this text is an alternative when the image is not showing. Pretty much it's like the image name. Let me just show you quickly on the code, pretty much, because some people have been asking me, what is this alt for? So, as you check here, this alt here, this is the text for when the image is not showing. Let's say, for instance, you're building a large scale website where there's a span of images. Let's say you're creating an online restaurant and then you want to put a picture of a pie, and then this Raspberry Pi is not showing. But then there's a span of pies. So when you're running our application and then this image is not showing, then I'm not even sure which image is not showing. So since we have this alternate tag, alt tag, you can literally give the name of your image just in case it doesn't show. Now, since this image is not showing, let's go find an image online that we can use. Since this is our photo album, let's just go look up Scott Hanselman. Yeah, let's just look up Scott. I don't know why we're looking up
Your
Scott.
best friend.
We randomly,
Your best
randomly
friend.
just picking people.
He's looking for a senior.
Your best friend.
Copy image address. Let's see if it showed up here. Open a new tab. I don't see how this looks. Okay, let's take this. I hope it picks up this image. If it doesn't, you might have to opt for another image because it doesn't really say the extension of the image. So we're just gonna come here and paste the image. I hope it picks it up. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed with me, guys. If it doesn't pick it up, I am. Whoa. Wow. Is this the right link? Okay. I hope this picks up this image. Let's go back to the website. Where is it? Where's our website? Then refresh. I hope it picks up. I hope it picks it up. If it doesn't, we did. Oh, wow. Look at this. Who's this guy? Oh, this is Scott. Hi, Scott. Them smiling there. Smiling there. So, literally, that's literally the basic parts, base knowledge and how this is how they build websites, pretty much. I know, right? Nothing hectic, nothing heavy. Well, there is some heavy stuff. I just haven't touched on that yet. Just not yet. I don't want to, strain you guys and put on some heavy stuff on you guys before we actually learn the basics. Because I'm all about learning the basics. Because I know myself, when I was learning web development, no one really taught me where to start. I had to figure everything out myself. And whenever I go online, I would just watch all of these advanced tutorials and then people just doing all this stuff that I don't even understand. So I'm just trying to baby step you guys from step to step. Even for people who haven't really written any code in their lives, they know how.
Wow, I have to say that I never knew you can put links And then SRC.
So, pictures of people. So this is Scott's. Okay. Hi, Scott's is smiling.
Tory,
Last picture and name and say, yes.
I said I didn't know you could have put a link.
Oh, yeah. You can actually. You can. You can. You don't really. Okay. I could have done this. I could have done this two ways. If I had to, I could have put it somewhere in my folders.
Mm.
Now I don't have to put it here. But now, since we're working in a day where everything is online, we don't have to store anything in our local machine. I could just pull an image online and render it on my website. This is so fun, right? Because let's say you create an online store for a person who already has an Instagram page or any social media page with the pictures of their products. You don't really have to go and download all of the products. Just go ahead and have to pick on links and just add them here. That's pretty much how this works. So this is Scott. I'm just gonna add Scott Hanselman here. I hope I didn't mess up his name. Oh my God, he's gonna kill me. Scott Hanselman. And then here we might want to add another image. Here.
Add an image of you.
An image of me.
No, next to your senior.
I'm not gonna do that.
So Melissa, what do you think?
It definitely should. It definitely should. Best friends demo website.
I'm gonna add another image here. I'm just gonna add like 3 or 4 images, right? Another image here. Let's just go find another image. Which person should we add?
Add Scott Gunther. Add Scott Gunther.
Scott. Oh, so we're adding all the Microsoft people. Okay, that's nice.
The 3 Scotts of Microsoft.
So we're adding all the Microsoft people. Scott Gunther. Oh, maybe I misspelled his name. Oh, jeez. I hope he shows up. Is this him?
I know.
This is not him. I think I misspelled his name.
Yeah.
I misspelled his name.
Just
wrong Scott.
That's a wrong Scott.
Scott.
How could? Oh my word! Jeez. Let me just say Microsoft.
It's Scott Guthrie.
Scott Guthrie. Let me just say the image because I know how he looks like. Oh my.
I think just start erasing the GU. You'll pop up. Yeah.
Is the one with the red
Yes, that's the one.
T-shirt.
Look at this guy. Genius. He's one of the smartest people in Microsoft, eh?
Hey, you must be sure to tag this on Twitter. Must be sure to tag them on Twitter.
I'll be dead. They will kill me. Let me just add the link here. Whoa. Wow. That's a really long link. Wow.
It sure is. You're scaring the audience with this kind of links.
Yeah, I'm scared. Yeah, it's a long ass link. Let me just try to find a shorter one. Okay, this one seems a little bit shorter. Okay, it's the same thing. Okay, let's just take this one. This one seems to be a little bit shorter. Because wow, that one is so long. Jeez. Okay, this one works. And just put an alternate here. And just in case it doesn't show, so that whoever is looking at my code in the future can see, okay, this is the picture this guy was trying to show, but then it didn't display. Scott, oh my God, I'm gonna misspell his surname, so I'm just gonna say Scott G. I know it sounds cooler that way, but whatever. Let's just save this. Let me just remove this closing tag. Save this and go back to our browser. Geez, so many tabs. This is not neat. Never be a developer with so many tabs. Let's see if he pops up. Oh wow. Okay. It's big though. It's so big. Why are you bigger than the top? Why are you taking all the space? Now, which brings me to this part that most people hate when you're talking about web development, right? This part that most people hate. Now, when you're working with images, right, there's something called CSS. Now, what CSS does, you can resize this image. You can rotate it, put it on the side, put it on the middle, make it dance, make it do whatever. So we do all of that in CSS. Now, what the CSS stands for? It stands for cascading style sheets, pretty much.
Basically,
Style
makeup.
sheets. Yeah, pretty much. You say you literally controlling the behavior of your of your items. It could be an image, it could be a font, it could be whatever. So first, for starters, I don't really like the size of this font, so I just want to make this one a little bit bold, right? There are two ways we could do this. Two ways. So we could come here, and then just do this. Since it's a style sheet, since making the font bold and then literally manipulating any element front page or literally the view, we do that on the CSS file, right? Which is the style sheets. We can do it here also, but there are two ways actually. We can do it here or do it on the CSS file. So first I'm going to show you how to do it here. We're just going to say style. Style. I hope I don't mess this up. Oh Lord. We're just going to say style. Why is this not showing up? I'm missing something here. When I'm writing style, this should show up. Okay, let me just say style here. Oh, look at you.
Supposed to be in the class tab.
Oh yeah. Font size and font family. Look at this. Did you look at this? I didn't have to type most of the stuff. I just typed font and then let me just type font again. And then Visual Studio automatically gave me suggestions. And I remember last week when Yolanda was asking me what was my favorite part about .NET, and I said .NET has most of the stuff you need. It's like it knows. It's something called intelligence. It's kind of like AI, but then in I don't know, in a sense, I don't know. Since I was talking about AI on Monday, I hope he explained what that means. Some really heavy stuff, smart kid. But intelligence is kind of like AI. It kind of predicts what you want. So as soon as I typed font, it automatically gave me suggestions that go with the name font. So it could be font family. Font family is a type of font. It could be Arial, Calibri body, sans, font size adjust, font style. There's everything here you need. Oh, I think this one is on font style. I think this one's on font style. It's bold. It should be bold here.
Quick question, Tory.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what's the difference between a web app that's built with ASP.NET Framework, web app that's built with ASP.NET Core?
Okay. So there are two ways you could judge this, right? You could judge on appearance and you could judge on how it performs. And when I'm talking about performance, I'm not talking about how fast it compiles. I'm just talking about the distribution parts, how it's deployed, and all of that. So first, looking at the appearance parts and how it looks. Depending on how good the programmer was coding each of those apps, you might not even know the difference. So for instance, if I had to show you this app from, like, I never show you the backend code and never told you nothing and say, this is the website, you wouldn't even know it's built on ASP.NET Core or ASP.NET Framework. You wouldn't even know. But the core difference, right? The core difference is that ASP.NET Core has long-term support. It has long-term support, meaning when you're deploying application on Azure services, on the Azure cloud provider, I don't know about other cloud providers, it will be supported for the longest time, probably until your kids even become your age. So, but with .NET Framework, it's literally they're cutting it out. Most companies are literally scratching .NET Framework. Literally, the application still run. It runs perfectly. It does everything. It gives bugs or has viruses or whatever. No, it's fine. It runs. It's just that .NET Core is like the new thing now.